Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Viktor Frankl. Life is unpredictable. Plans fall apart. People disappoint. Circumstances shift beyond your control, and in those moments you feel powerless. The question creeps in, what if I can't control my life? What then? This fear isn't just about chaos, it's about identity. If you can't control what happens to you, how do you stay grounded? How do you keep from drifting into frustration, bitterness, or despair? Viktor Frankl faced this question at the edge of human suffering. Stripped of freedom, he discovered that while we cannot control life's circumstances, we can always control our response. Meaning is built not from controlling life, but from how we meet life's challenges. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, echoed this truth centuries earlier. He taught that peace comes not from controlling the external world, but from mastering our internal judgments and actions. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Two voices. One calls you to find meaning beyond control. The other teaches you to cultivate virtue within what you control. Both show you how to remain sovereign in a world that isn't. One of the deepest fears we carry is the loss of control. You plan, you work hard, you build, yet life often ignores your expectations. Illness strikes, relationships collapse, careers shift, global events disrupt everything. In these moments, you're forced to confront a painful truth. Much of life is beyond your control, and that realization feels like standing on quicksand. When control slips away, it's not just circumstances that shake. Your sense of identity trembles too. We tie control to security, success, even self-worth. So when life proves uncontrollable, you might feel lost, powerless, even meaningless. The natural reaction is frustration, to fight harder for control. But what happens when no amount of effort changes reality? Viktor Frankl faced the ultimate loss of control in concentration camps. Stripped of freedom, dignity, and certainty, he discovered a radical truth. Even when you control nothing else, you always control your response. Frankl taught that the last human freedom is to choose one's attitude. You can't always control life's questions, but you can always control your answer. That answer gives your life meaning, no matter the circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, centuries earlier, reached the same conclusion through Stoic philosophy. As emperor, he ruled an empire, yet he knew he ruled very little. Disease, betrayal, wars, these were constants. Marcus taught that suffering comes not from events, but from our judgments about them. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. For Marcus, control is internal. Thoughts, actions, choices. Where Frankl speaks of meaning, Marcus speaks of virtue and clarity. Both reject the illusion that controlling life's chaos is possible. Instead, they redirect your focus inward. You don't master life by forcing outcomes. You master life by mastering yourself, your perceptions, your reactions, your integrity. This is where real freedom lives. The fear of losing control becomes manageable when you realize that control was never the point. Frankl shows you that meaning arises from your response to life's challenges. Marcus shows you that peace arises from living in accordance with reason and virtue, regardless of what happens. Both call you to a higher form of control over your character, not your circumstances. But accepting this truth is difficult. Our instincts crave control. We believe that more planning, more effort, more vigilance will guarantee safety. Yet life consistently proves otherwise. Frankl would tell you that this struggle reveals your deeper need for meaning. Marcus would tell you that it reveals your need for alignment, to act rightly no matter the storm. Both offer a path to freedom, not by changing what happens to you, but by changing how you inhabit what happens. You reclaim sovereignty, not over life's events, but over your mind, your actions, your values. This is the essence of true control. So when life feels out of control, ask the questions Frankl and Marcus would. Frankl, what meaning can I create in this challenge? Marcus, how can I act with virtue here and now? That shift in focus is where real power begins. The obsession with control is often rooted in fear fear of pain, failure, or irrelevance. We believe that controlling outcomes will protect us from suffering, but Frankl and Marcus both show that suffering is not optional. What is optional is how we respond. Trying to control everything externally only amplifies frustration, but shifting your focus inward gives you a power that circumstances can't touch. Viktor Frankl emphasized that meaning arises in response to life's demands. You may not choose your circumstances, but you always choose your attitude toward them. This choice, repeated daily, becomes the foundation of a meaningful life. Frankl didn't romanticize suffering, but he taught that within suffering lies the opportunity to shape your character. Control for Frankl was about mastering your response, not your fate. Marcus Aurelius echoed this with stoic precision. He believed that external events are indifferent, neither good nor bad, until you assign them judgment. What matters is whether you act with virtue in response. For Marcus, control isn't about outcomes. It's about living in accordance with nature and reason. The external world fluctuates. Your inner posture defines your peace. Both Frankl and Marcus agree. The pursuit of total control is a false promise. But the pursuit of self-mastery is where true strength lies. Frankl shows you how to find meaning through responsibility. Marcus shows you how to cultivate inner order through disciplined thought and action. Together, they provide a map for navigating life's unpredictability with dignity. This doesn't mean passivity. Frankl encourages active engagement with life's challenges, transforming suffering into service. Marcus urges deliberate action aligned with virtue, regardless of success. You are not powerless. You are responsible for your response. This is not resignation. It's a higher form of control, sovereignty over your inner world. Reframing your relationship with control liberates you. You stop exhausting yourself trying to manipulate what you can't. Instead, you invest energy into what is always within reach. Your mindset, your decisions, your integrity. Frankl's path leads you to live with purpose despite chaos. Marcus's path leads you to act with excellence despite uncertainty. In this perspective, uncontrollable events become opportunities. To Frankl, they are questions life is asking of, demanding a meaningful answer. To Marcus, they are exercises in practicing virtue, forging a stronger character. Both transform external chaos into internal growth. You don't escape life's unpredictability, but you can rise above it by shifting from control of circumstances to control of self. Frankl gives you the why through meaning. Marcus gives you the how through discipline. This is where real freedom and real control exist. So when life feels overwhelming, pause, breathe, ask, what is within my control right now? Frankl, what meaning can I create? Marcus, what virtue can I practice? That is where you reclaim power. No matter how chaotic life gets, the more you try to control what's uncontrollable, the more exhausted you become. Viktor Frankl teaches that this exhaustion comes from misplacing your focus. You are not responsible for the storms that come, but you are always responsible for the sailor you become in facing them. Meaning arises when you stop demanding life to be different and start asking, how will I respond to this moment with purpose? Marcus Aurelius approaches this challenge with stoic realism. He doesn't deny the pain of lost control. Instead, he teaches you to focus on your inner citadel, the fortress of mind and virtue that external chaos cannot breach. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This is not denial. It's a disciplined choice to maintain your sovereignty. Both Frankl and Marcus offer you a way to reclaim agency without illusion. Frankl shows you that the ultimate freedom is to give your suffering meaning through responsibility. Marcus shows you that peace is achieved by accepting what is outside your control and focusing fully on the moral quality of your actions. Together, they turn helplessness into self-mastery. Living this way requires humility. You must accept that control over outcomes is limited, but control over your choices is absolute. Frankl would ask, what is life demanding of me in this challenge? Marcus would ask, how can I act justly, wisely, and calmly in this moment? These questions recenter you, moving you from reaction to intention. This shift in perspective transforms chaos into opportunity. Every disruption becomes a chance to practice clarity, patience, courage. Frankl teaches that even in suffering, you can create meaning by choosing your attitude and actions. Marcus teaches that every external obstacle is an invitation to refine your character. Both point you toward a life where control is internal, not external. But this is not easy. The pull to blame circumstances is strong. The temptation to play victim is seductive. Yet Frankl reminds you, even in the worst situations, there are choices, however small, that define your dignity. Marcus echoes this by insisting that virtue is always within reach, even when power is not. In this way, both Frankl and Marcus give you back power where it truly exists, not in bending the world to your will, but in bending your will into alignment with meaning and virtue. You become unshakable not because life becomes easier, but because your inner foundation becomes stronger. So when life overwhelms you, stop trying to dominate the storm. Instead, become the person who can stand within it with clarity and grace. Frankl would say, your response creates meaning. Marcus would say your action creates peace. Both would agree that is where real control and real strength are found. The paradox both Viktor Frankl and Marcus Aurelius reveal is this: when you stop needing to control everything, you become free. Frankl faced the ultimate deprivation of control, yet found a freedom untouched by his captors, the freedom to choose his attitude. This inner freedom was not granted by circumstance, but claimed through conscious response. Your life too can be reclaimed this way. Marcus Aurelius reinforces this with stoic precision. He teaches that external chaos does not define your inner state unless you allow it. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. For Marcus, true power lies in the mastery of your mind and your choices. You don't control fate. You control the virtues you embody through action. Both Frankl and Marcus liberate you from the exhausting illusion of omnipotence. Frankl teaches that meaning is forged in response to life's challenges. Marcus teaches that peace is forged in alignment with reason and virtue. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become an architect of character. This doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger. The storms will come, people will fail you, plans will crumble. But Frankl shows that suffering without meaning destroys, while suffering embraced with purpose elevates. Marcus shows that events are neutral. Their impact depends on your internal posture. The secret is attention. Frankl would urge you to focus on the responsibility each moment demands. Marcus would challenge you to focus on the present action, done with excellence. Both redirect your gaze from what's beyond your control to what is always within it. Your response, your effort, your integrity. This shift is not passive acceptance, it's active mastery. You engage with life fully, but without the need to dominate its outcomes. Frankl invites you to infuse each moment with meaning through service and attitude. Marcus invites you to embody virtue with unwavering discipline. Together they form a life philosophy rooted in sovereignty of the self. In embracing this, you become resilient. External chaos loses its power to unmake you. You no longer ride the highs and lows of circumstances. Instead, you cultivate a steady strength, a life lived with meaning, Frankl, and virtue, Marcus. This is where true control resides. So when life spirals out of control, the question is not, how do I fix everything? The question becomes, Frankl, what meaning will I create through my response? Marcus, how will I act rightly here? And now that is the foundation of a life no chaos can shake. You can't control life, but you can control how you respond. Viktor Frankl teaches that meaning is created through your attitude, even in suffering. Marcus Aurelius shows that true power lies in mastering your thoughts and actions, not external events. One anchors you in purpose, the other in discipline. Real control isn't about bending the world to your will. It's about aligning yourself with what truly matters, meaning and virtue. When life feels chaotic, remember, you're not powerless. You're responsible. If this message helped shift your perspective, subscribe to Purpose Through Pain. Here, we turn struggle into strength through timeless wisdom. Comment below. Do you seek control through Frankl's meaning or Marcus's virtue? Share this with someone feeling overwhelmed by life's chaos. They need to hear this.